All right. So that was for our brief pause there for our sponsors.
Awesome.
So it's super powerful. What a powerful way to walk into knowing that it isn't the newest crave, right? Oh, this is the newest diet. Go do this,
Yeah.
go do that. It's something that has been that is really made for something that's so much older. How powerful is that for people to be able to understand that? And so if they think something's not quite right, but yet Western medicine isn't really telling you what it could possibly
Right.
be, this would be a really good way to go figure out. So I probably need to go find me a doctor because there's something I probably
Ah,
have
but
to go look
that's why it's great to know me, because I have all those lists of things that are good for you and things to avoid, and that's what I do in my counseling with people. It's because once you get it, you're like, oh my God, oh my goodness. And then how do I adopt this? And, you've got lots of questions. And then I also talk about the energetics of your food and, how they're landing for you, if they're working for you. And you may find that you have an imbalance and there's food that you just don't like at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start eating it and you're encouraged and supported to eat it, you'll find that it'll just break open something that you weren't aware of that you were stuck in. So that's a great thing about Ayurveda, is it's all an energetic conversation, and it's based on how you were designed. It's not we tried this in some lab and sample, and we made this idea up. It's all given from wisdom and in thousands of years of practice. And once you just get the key to that, it's just so powerful. And how people don't feel comfortable in their skin. They don't know themselves very well. Well, this is the key that gives you that anchor into yourself and understanding yourself. And what I love about it is I don't have to apologize for me anymore. I just get to know that I'm being a Pitta Kapha, that I'm competitive, ambitious, and I have a keen mind, that I'm naturally a leader, and I'm dynamic. And I'm also loving, caring, kind, and compassionate and generous. And when I get out of balance, I can be rude, dismissive, and not realize there's anybody else in the room. It's just me, because that's what happens when a Pitta gets imbalanced. And I can get really hungry and angry if I need to eat, and I say snarky things when I need to eat. And if I'm in my Kapha-ness, I can be super sensitive, feel like nobody sees me. People dismiss me, they overlook me. I ruminate about stuff that's wrong, that's happened to me. I'm all of that. And, as people, as we grow up, we're told, oh, don't be like that. Stop being so sensitive. You're too pushy. You're too bossy. You're too all these things. And, when we deny aspects of ourselves, and the thing is, we can't help but be all those things anyway. But when we deny aspects of ourselves, we shut ourselves down. We take away our radiance and our brilliance, really, to be that person. And so Ayurveda just gives me and other people access to this larger conversation, the good, the medium, and the not so good. And the not so good is only not so good because it's out of balance. But once we start eating food and we take, herbs, we get back in balance, and then we become the highest expression of what our doshas are.
Oh, and don't we all want to be radiant, right? Being our radiant, show up as the best person of ourselves. So now if I was interested, or anybody here listening, they want to work with you, how do you work? Do you have programs, or do you have coaching, or?
Yeah, we have programs and coaching. So what we start off is your dosha and who you are. And then the second phase is how you land to other people, right? So you get your operating manual, and now you get to learn about how people perceive you and how they might be seeing you. And then if you're in relationship, which we all are with other people, then we get to learn about their doshas, especially people that you have a lot of problems with, right? You get to learn about their doshic makeup, and then you get to understand why they trigger you and why you see them the way you do. And I do couples counseling, and I do family counseling between parents and children. Though I take counseling, I'm not a therapist. I'm somebody that has studied communications, all different kinds of systems, and I apply Ayurveda to it. So I want to put that out as a disclaimer. But yeah, it's so freeing when you get a couple people or a family in a room and you start describing them to each other, and then they see how they communicate, and then they wonder why they're always having breakdown. Now your doshas explain it all. So once you know that, you get to sort of open up your blinders and make room for you and them, and so that there is a more harmonious interaction. And there are keywords that certain doshas need to hear, and we learn them so that we can, everybody can be acknowledged. Good.
Wow. So for all of these families that have been home together for the last year, and they've been hitting each other's triggers.
Yeah.
What a powerful gift now to say, okay, how can we now move forward in a more harmonious way, understanding this about each other? Because it's been so dramatic this whole last year, all of the changes that everybody's had to adopt to, and kids being home, parents working at home,
right.
People sent home, some people losing their jobs. I mean, and then this throw in the grief of losing people. And so right. what a powerful way to be able to help families.
Right. And I was talking to someone the other day, and he had just mentioned that his dad was a pitta, like full pitta, and he's a pitta vata. So he just was misunderstood the whole time he was growing up, because he was different than his dad and his brothers. Right. And so, and now his son is a pitta. His oldest son is a pitta, and his youngest son, I think, is probably kapha vata. And so when I explained all this to him, he was just like, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. And then he was telling me the dynamics between his kids. And I said, oh, isn't this awesome? You get to have that lesson with your dad and your son. You get to work that out. Now you get to guide him so that he's more aware, and you get to help your kapha vata son by having more expression and not let his older brother run over him. And he's like, yeah, he's like, oh my gosh. Like, it was like the profoundness on his face was just, to me, it was like, yes, that's what I want to do, is I want to light people up in the sense of giving them freedom and understanding and peace. And it was so cool to see that.
Oh, that is so wonderful. So if people want to work with you, how can they reach you, Christine?
They can reach me at Christine Miura. So I'll spell it out at gmail.com. So it's ChristIneMiura at gmail.com. That's me.
That's great. We'll put it in the notes too in the show, but I wanted people to know how they can connect with you. I mean, to be able to change your family dynamics, I'm so honored that I get to hear more of your story of how you have come from this really tough place, and how you found your joy and the love that radiates through you, because I did not know you back then, and how now you're really lifting up other people and really making a positive impact on the world. And I just want to know how much I love and respect you for that. And the world just needs more of this. And so if somebody listening, their family has maybe been a little strained over the last year, and they love each other and they want to work it through, you would just be that perfect soul to be able to go in and to be able to help them. you know.
Thank you. And, I forgot to say this. The reason I wanted to bring this work to the world is because as women, we tend to look into the mirror and not love our bodies. And the thing about Ayurveda is it actually explains why your body is the way it is. Like, you can't help but be this design or this figure, because this is what the doshas, this is the energetic blueprint, says about your body. And my hope was that if enough of us women and men, but if we understood, like, I'm not that, airbrushed person in the magazines, right? Like, and we have this level of self-hatred all the time about our bodies, but we understood that nature designed us to have a broad chest, or, a curvaceous bottom, or that we're drawn like a stick, or, tall and skinny with no breasts, or whatever all that is, that's the way nature designed us. Then we'd have that first step in self-love and self-acceptance. And so that it's so powerful to understand, like, oh yeah, those diets I've been on, and I'm not supposed to eat this and eat that. Well, if you actually ate within the guidelines of your dosha, your body would probably drop off all the weight. And it's just so beautiful when someone goes, wow, I'm perfect. I'm designed perfect. Even if you're really overweight right now, that's your body saying to you, hey, we're not in alignment. We've got some work to do with our food and a little exercise. But as far as your curves and the way you're built, you're perfect. So I wanted to say that because if we can start there and we can see the beauty in our bodies, then, it's really the first step to everything else, just everything opening up in such a huge way.
I cannot agree with you more. When I was trying to come up with the name of the podcast of Light Up Your Worth, it was really about trying to have women understand their own self-value, right? And for me, that worth comes through doing more spiritual practices and understanding that worth and how it translates out to your whole life. When you really value and you understand your own worth, how that is projected out, and then how things come into you just through the normal, laws of nature can now come easily into you because you are connected into your own worth. So that was a really great way to have us wrap this up. So I just want to thank you and honor you for coming on and sharing your knowledge. And we'll put your contact information below. And I can't wait for people to find you and connect with you, as I have, because I have found all of our conversations to be so enlightening. And it kind of takes that mystery, right, out of people who haven't ventured down this whole spiritual path, or maybe they're curious, or they've tried a couple things, or they don't even know where to begin. And so you are that focal point for somebody, if they're curious, to be able to figure this out and learn how it could really benefit and improve their lives. So
I mean, the whole thing about Ayurveda is mind, body, spirit. It's taking all those aspects and giving you, the individual, the tools to be successful. Like, if you actually studied it for, eons, you would find there are just more and more things that open up, and you're like, huh. And, it's 5,000 years old, and every medical system is based from Ayurveda. So it's like, how can you not get benefit from it?
Right.
So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.